She's back again. More decluttering is happening. I'm trying to raise a bit of money. We're trying to save to buy a house, so obviously my outgoings on perfume, what I try to do nowadays as far as I can is to sell perfumes on that I don't love in order to fund perfumes that I do love, because I have almost 3,000 subscribers when I'm recording this, which is so exciting and amazing. But relatively speaking, compared to other YouTube channels, I am still quite a small channel. And I mean, if it, for clarification, I make from ad revenue between £60 and £80 a month for all of my videos for my channel. So that does not in any way cover the amount of money I tend to spend on perfumes per month, and it doesn't cover what I need to run this channel. So this is a really good way of me recouping money that I've spent on perfume so that I can spend it on things that I'm gonna test and talk about for you guys, or stuff that I really want for myself. So we're going to start with one that's going to be shocking because everyone loves this perfume. I do think this might be the nicest rose perfume I've ever smelt in terms of like a pure rose. This is Stella by Stella McCartney, and this is one of the original perfumes, the original boxes. This is a 30ml. So the thing with me though, I just don't really like rose very much, and rose is so not one of my favourite perfume notes. I'm going to be really careful on getting out this rather delicate old box. As you can see, I've barely made a dent in this. I think, there you go, you can see when it's upside down, that's all that's been used. I think it's probably the amber in here that I don't love, but to be honest, like I said, I don't love the rose. I just don't love rose perfumes. I have a couple of rose forward perfumes. One of them is a fruity rose. That one is Fleurs d'Ombre Rose by Jean-Charles Brousseau, and that's got like raspberries and black currants and melon, and it's got all of these delicious, or mango even, all of these delicious fruits that kind of balance it out. And I also have Tokard from Brocard, which is a kind of Turkish delighty smell, but that's amber as well, but it's a winter perfume for me. So it's got this kind of vanillic dry down with this almost powdered sugar feel. So again, it's quite a different kind of rose. This is a pure rose. I just don't really enjoy wearing pure roses, but this is an incredibly beautiful perfume if you love roses. So I can imagine that I'd just rather someone who loved this have it. That's what it really comes down to. I don't want to keep this if I'm not going to use it, and if when I am going to use it I force myself to, and then I don't really love wearing it, because if I'm not a rose person, I just have to admit that to myself. So I want someone else who's appreciating the beauty of Stella, because it's so hard to come by for a decent price. So I will be putting this one on my eBay, and I hope someone who loves it manages to snap it up. So in that same vein, this is Fleur Fatale from Kim Kardashian. I did have a really big bottle of this, and then I decluttered it, and then I decided to bring it back in a smaller bottle, because these are pretty chunky, these bottles. I think, this is only a 30ml, but it's quite hefty, this bottle. Again, it's a mainly rose perfume. I think this one's rose and peony. It's a little bit more spring summery, and in fact this is one that I think only smells nice in warm weather, whereas I think Stella works at most times of year. I know that it's funny because some people I've seen agree with what I'm about to say, but one of my favourite YouTubers for perfume, Sarah Mays, who used to be fair, wear Stella as a signature scent, she does not agree with me with what I'm about to say. But I do think this has a very similar rose note to Stella. Like, I really do think it has a similar rose note. It doesn't have the same kind of darkness that one does. This one has an added brightness, an added summery feeling, but I do think it's got a very similar rose accord in here. And I would almost say that you could imagine this is like Stella summer. Do you know what I mean? So I think if you've either missed Stella and you want something that maybe in the warm weather can give you that same kind of feeling, or you've never managed to smell Stella and you want to smell something that is affordable, that you can kind of get your hands on and is going to give you some kind of similar experience, and I think Fleur Fatale might be a good one. But again, I don't really love these kind of floral perfumes, so there's not much point in me keeping this, so this one can go to a different home as well. I do actually. I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think I probably, personally, I probably slightly prefer this one just because it is a bit brighter and less ambery than Stella. So yeah, I mean, you might have to. Maybe you've all lost complete respect for me after what I've just said. So here we have Miss Cassandra. This is a Jeanne Arthes perfume. This one is really, really very pretty. It just doesn't feel like me. That's literally the only reason I'm getting rid of this. I would like to be able to wear this. I've tried wearing it a few times, but I always feel like I'm wearing someone else's perfume because Miss Cassandra, I'll take the huge bottle out of the box. It's extremely affordable. But this smells just like Miss Dior 2021, I think it is. The one that doesn't have patchouli. But it's got quite a strong kind of vanillic dry down. It's a lovely pink, pale pink floral with a vanilla in the dry down that turns it a little bit sweet and syrupy and girly. There's some kind of, I'm not sure if it's like red currant or berries or something, but there's something a bit fruity in the top. So it's a classic fruity floral. But yeah, me and Miss Cassandra and me and Miss Dior, we don't feel like bedfellows. We don't really feel like we go with each other, if that makes sense. I would love this on other people, and I do smell people wearing different incarnations of Miss Dior, and I really enjoy it. I always think they smell delicious. But yeah, it just, I don't know, it just, I find it a little bit cloying on me. It just doesn't really work for me. But I'm not necessarily a kind of very sweet fruity floral girl. I like kind of fresher fruity florals myself. But anyway, this one, not quite for me, but I do think it's awesome. So that's Miss Cassandra from Jeanne Arthes. This is so random. This one I've had for such a long time. And I think when I first reviewed it, I was saying I didn't like it. So I always knew I was going to get rid of it. But it's just been in my collection for ages now. So, I mean, will it even fit in? Test a bottle of Anna Sui Fantasia Gold Edition. Here is the ridiculously ostentatious but rather cool bottle. I mean, let's be real, I bought this because of the bottle more than anything else. And because it had a rice pudding note. It has a rice pudding note. But this one, I think I was pretty scathing about this when I first got it. And then I have tried it again during the winter months when it had kind of been maturing for a little bit in a dark box. And I don't feel as annoyed about it as I used to, but I still don't like wearing it. So this is one where I think it's supposed to be a bit gourmand, you know. But realistically, it's just a very sweet, slightly vanillic, extremely spicy perfume. I think this smells like nutmeg and mace, maybe a pinch of cinnamon. It smells like all the kind of spices you put in Christmassy baking, you know, and food. But it doesn't really smell like rice pudding to me, and that's what I was interested in. I feel like this has a very vintage spicy style, kind of more ambery, woody, spicy kind of feel that you get in old school perfumes, but then has a very sweet vanillic side to it as well, and a little bit powdery. But yeah, I mean, it's very nutmeggy, macey kind of smell to me. I think I said at the time, but it's like the spices I put into a bread sauce when I'm making a bread sauce at Christmas. So I just don't love wearing it, but I think there are other people. I think if you like old school spicy ambery perfumes, you'd be really into this one, and it's definitely much more beautiful in cold weather, and I much preferred it. I mean, there was a moment where I thought, oh, maybe I could wear this, but it just doesn't suit me. It's not my kind of thing. It's a little bit too sweet. But yeah, it's not really ricey. It's not particularly creamy. It's just very sweet. So yeah, that's Anna Sui. What was it called again? This massive thing. Fantasia Gold Edition. So that one, I don't know if I've already had this in a declutter or what, but yeah, that's definitely got to go to a different home because it was limited edition and I don't think it's massively easy to find. And it's obviously a pretty cool collector's item if you like those bottles. So next up we have one that I just went off this one, to be honest. I really liked it when I first got it. Then the last few times I've tried to wear it, I've just found it slightly overwhelming. I just can't get on with it. And this is hard to see, but it's Jovan Gold Musk. This is kind of a modern, A modern take on the original Jovan Musk. This one has star anise. It has, I think, rum or like a liqueur note in it. If you love the original Jovan Musk, I think you're going to love this. I do like the original Jovan a lot, but I'm kind of more of a skin musk perfume, a skin musk oil person myself. So I do like Jovan. I will always have some Jovan oil in my collection because it is a classic and I do think it's really beautiful. But it's not my favourite musky smell. And I think this one, I don't know, it's really hard for me to put my finger on why this doesn't work for me. Because I think it's beautiful. It's got a sweetness. I like the spices. The slightly boozy quality is not actually necessarily boozy. I think it just gives it a richness. But yeah, I just can't really wear it. It just doesn't particularly suit me, and I would rather, because this is rare as well. Like, it's quite hard to get hold of gold musk. You can get it in some UK and European places, some shops online. But most places don't seem to really stock this. I don't know if they make it anymore. So again, I'd rather someone else who was interested in this has it. So it's just not my favourite, and this will be leaving my collection because there's no point in me holding on to it, especially if it's not available many places anymore. Next up, Vanilla Apricot from Comptoir Sud Pacifique. I tried a few Comptoir Sud Pacifiques. This is the only one that stayed, but I have to be true to myself. It's too sickly. It's so sweet. I said at the time, this is like one of the sweetest perfumes I've ever smelt. It's the sweetest perfume I had in my collection. I love these bottles. It's such a cool bottle that you can see the liquid through it. I always thought these were metal, and then I realised they were like sprayed glass, and they're so cool. This liquid has changed colour a bit. You can see it's got more yellow, but it is just so intensely sweet, like to the point where it's just overwhelming to me, this sugary sweet vanilla. It's quite synthetic. I think it's fun. My husband complimented me the last time I gave this a proper full wear, but this is not for anyone other than people who like extremely sweet things. If you love bougie, what's it called? Yum bougie marshmallow. If you like yum pistachio from Kayali, that kind of thing. If you like any of the vanillas from this range, you will be fine, I think, with vanilla apricot. But personally, this is just so sweet that I find it like literally intimidating how sweet this is. It's too much for me. And I found that like the same with the banana one, I passed that one on, and I never really liked I think it's called Cacao and More. That one was too biscuity for me, so that went straight away. But yeah, so it's super cute. It's a really lovely bottle. I can see why people love this. It's just too sweet for my personal taste. So, Comptoir Sud Pacifique, this one, Vanilla Apricot, that one's going to have to go to a new home because I can't cope with it. It's just too much for me, man. So this guy, oh, she's a bit dusty because she's been in my display, but okay, so this is Poison Girl. This is the Eau de Toilette formulation. Now, I do really like this one. It's just that I do think that the Poison Girl oeuvre, that collection, they are very similar perfumes, and I never had the original, though I do have a dupe of that from Larive because I've got a whole load of Larive perfumes I need to do a big Larive review of. But the original was too balsamic, but there was something I like about it, but it was so balsamic that it made me feel a bit queasy. And then I wanted to try this one, and I thought this one was much nicer. It's not quite as balsamic. It's got a kind of slightly soapy dry down. But my favourite of them, and I have a bottle of that now, is Poison Girl Unexpected, which is very similar to this, but less soapy, and it has a real effervescent ginger in it. And I wore that one recently, and I wore this one as well, so I could compare them, and I just prefer Unexpected. So because they are kind of both, it's not that they're so similar that you couldn't own both. Definitely there's enough difference that if you really love that range, it makes sense to have them. But I don't wear them very often, so there's no point in me having two that are that similar. And, Poison Girl, Really cool bottle. The eau de toilette I think is discontinued, as is Unexpected. So it just makes sense to me to pass this on to someone who's actually going to appreciate it and is going to enjoy it. And the bottle's in pretty good nick, so I might as well pass this one on. Unexpected will stay with me because my husband really, really liked that perfume as well. So he really liked when I was wearing it. So I was like, okay, decision made. So that's Poison Girl Unexpected from Christian Dior. And that needs a new home as well. So I mentioned this in a video I did recently that was about things I've changed my mind about. This is Prerogative Ego from Britney Spears, another discontinued perfume that I'm sure a lot of people really love. So I have the original Prerogative, although I'm probably going to get rid of that one as well, but that is because I have something that almost smells like a dupe of it, but I slightly prefer. I'll talk about that another time. But this is basically exactly the same as the original Ego, but it's stronger, it's sweeter, more syrupy, and it has more of that goji berry smell in it, so it's a bit more fruity smelling. But it's very, very similar. The reason I'm getting rid of this is because I have Elizabeth Arden White Tea Vanilla Orchid, which I think smells very similar to this, but more kind of sheer, lighter, not quite as sweet, and a little bit more kind of, I guess, like, because it's got that white tea in it, maybe slightly more, I don't want to say aquatic, but that kind of thing. It's just an easier wear. This one is so syrupy sweet that every time I smelt it for the last few winters, I've just been like, no. I really, really was a bit obsessed with this when I had a real moment with sweet perfumes. But I think just generally speaking, it's not quite my thing, and there's still quite a lot left in it. It's a 100ml bottle. As I said, it's discontinued, so I'd rather someone who loves it has it. So that one's going to go on eBay as well. You guys probably don't even know that I have this. I got this partial bottle of Coco Eau de Parfum from Chanel because I really, really like this when I smell it in store. And I think it's a really beautiful perfume, but it just doesn't really smell great on me. Like, that's just what I have to admit to myself. Now I'm smelling it in summer, it's smelling a bit sweeter to me, but when I got this in winter, it just was a little bit too sharp on me. It just wasn't as sweet as I needed it to be for the spices. This is kind of the opposite of the Anna Sui one, you know. I do think Coco Eau de Parfum is amazing. It's really beautiful. It just doesn't really suit me, I don't think. And smelling it down, like, I want to be able to wear this. I think this is amazing, this perfume. And it's not even that it's too vintage. I think it just isn't. Again, it's just not my style. And if I'm going to reach for a classic smelling Chanel, especially in colder weather, I'm just going to put number 5 Eau de Parfum on because I absolutely am. I'm so in love with that. And that soapy quality is more my thing than this spicy quality. But yeah, I mean, Coco Eau de Parfum is beautiful. I think this bottle was relatively new when I bought it from the lady on eBay. So it probably needs to age up a little bit as well. But I think it's, yeah, Coco's just not really my style, no matter how much I would like it to be, you know. So that one needs to go as well. So we've got 2 more. So, I mean, this is one that I mentioned already, again, in something I changed my mind about. So this is Eau Rose from Diptyque. This is just a little 10ml pen spray. This is the Eau de Parfum of Eau Rose. And again, it's like I said, I don't really like rose very much. I am just not keen on rose perfumes. This is a rose perfume that has the same kind of rose in as Delina, and that is my worst type of rose. Now, the 2 other roses I've talked about, Fleur, Fatale and Stella, they are not the same kind of rose that's in this and in Delina. I find that rose very screechy. Yeah, it's just not right. It's not right to me. Now, I think this one, I think it's possible that Eau Rose has lychee in it as well. But yeah, this is just not my kind of rose, and it's not my kind of scent generally. I used to think that I really liked this when I used to smell it in store. So when I got this, I was kind of like, oh no, wait, I'm wrong. This is exactly the kind of rose that I don't like at all. Let alone, you know, wear. So yeah, that's three rose perfumes in one declutter. So you know, that's I'm waging war about my rose perfumes because there's no point in having all these rose perfumes when I don't really like rose. Okay, so last but definitely not least, we have this guy. I finally decided that I'm going to get rid of this. This is a Brocard perfume. It's called Winter Apple and Strawberry, but really this is a green apple and toffee perfume. I wouldn't really have known that there was strawberry in this, apart from the fact that wild strawberry I just think smells like apple. And what finally pushed me over the edge for this one, because I'm just... because every time I smell it, I think don't get rid of it, but I just cannot wear it. It's because I can't really get along with green apple in perfumes very well, and even more so when it's green apples with florals. So there's a couple of things that have pushed me to be like, no. The toffee that I love in this is not quite enough to argue that this is wearable for me, because it isn't really wearable for me. It's a real shame though. But I have two perfumes at the moment that have a slight vibe of this, even though they're not exactly the same. One is Giulietta from Coco. That is it's green apple and florals, but it's got a real sweetness in it and something that smells a bit spicy that reminds me of cinnamon. There is cinnamon in this. So that one I'm trying to work out how I feel about it, because it's even more floral and it's not quite as sweet as this. It's not got the gourmand touch. That one I kind of want to try, like I might wear it to a wedding I'm going to, for instance, because it's got that kind of feel to me. I'm seeing how I get on with it, but occasionally it smells like a candle. The other one, which I'm just fully obsessed with, is a Lolita Lampica perfume called Fleur de Fundo. That one is discontinued, but it's like mimosa. It's got wild strawberry leaf, I think, in it, but it comes across to me like an apple. But it has the Lolita Lampica base, which I'm obsessed with. So once I had that one and I fell in love with that one, I was thinking, this one, I feel like it's time to go, because there is something between them, if you see what I mean. But this is apple and cinnamon and strawberry and a actual toffee, not caramel, toffee. So it does smell like a slightly Christmassy toffee apple, and that is a wonderful thing, and it's beautiful. But... and I bought this secondhand, which is why there's such a big dent, because I have not got through this much of this perfume. I absolutely love smelling this from the bottle, but when I try to wear it, it makes me feel a bit sick. I just can't. And I just don't love green apple, and it's such a shame, but it's such a beautiful perfume. This is amazing if you like green apple-y gourmands. It's so beautiful. I just can't wear it. But it does kind of break my heart to get rid of this, because it's just... oh, it's a special one, it really is. But yeah, so that's the last of this particular declutter. Let me know if you've got any of these. Let me know if you think I'm an absolute fool for getting rid of any of them. Yeah, if there's anything you've been getting rid of recently, drop it down in the comments, because we all have to move on sometimes, and sometimes we have to let go of things, even if they are absolutely fantastic. Actually a tragedy, but never mind, we shall kiss it goodbye. All right guys, thanks. Please do subscribe if you like my content. I've got some more declutters coming up quite soon, because I've got a ton of perfume surrounding me right now. But yeah, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.